team representatives, or other fans will not be tolerated and are grounds for removal. Thank you for your assistance in providing a positive atmosphere. Now, let's meet today's starters. First, for the Cardinals. Batting leadoff, the center fielder, number 21, Rachel Madsen. Batting second, the second baseman, number 11, Gracie Vilak. Batting third, the shortstop, number 14, Talia Torzian. Batting cleanup, the designated player, number 12, Haley Morsovilio. Batting fifth, the catcher, number 77, Kayla Crabtree. Batting sixth, the first baseman, number 1, Lauren Bomar. Batting seventh, the right fielder, number 19, Bailey Miller. Batting eighth, the left fielder, number 28, Sydney Ninehouse. Batting ninth, the third baseman, number 9, Carly Creeth. In the circle for North Central, number 6, Sam Schilf. And now the starters for your Illinois Wesleyan Titans. Batting leadoff, the left fielder, number 1, Haley Milgazzo. Batting second, the center fielder, number 5, Anna Beckman. Batting third, the shortstop, number 27, Jen Kuhn. Batting cleanup, the first baseman, number 22, Ava Corey. Batting fifth, the catcher, number 13, Claire Post. Batting sixth, the designated player, number 10, Bella Pinter. Batting seventh, the second baseman, number 20, Ella Hermes. Batting eighth, the third baseman, number 11, Casey Wismiller. Batting ninth, the right fielder, number 25, Grace Wilkins. In the circle for the Titans, number 23, Gianna Serta. Tonight is the Pride Game, hosted by IWU Softball in collaboration with IWU's Athlete Ally Chapter. LGBTQ plus people who play and love sports often face unique challenges. In fact, 80% of athletes report having witnessed or experienced homophobia in sports, and LGBTQ plus athletes are nearly twice as likely to drop out of sport as a result. This is due to ongoing stigma and a lack of LGBTQ plus education, which allows homophobia and transphobia to persist in sport. But when athletes, teams, and leagues educate themselves about LGBTQ plus inclusion and commit to standing for equality, they help create a sports community that welcomes and accepts us all. That's what the Pride Game is about, showing our allyship and promoting inclusion in sports. Thank you for being here to support this important cause. Go Titans! Today, we have the president and founder of IWU's Athlete Ally Chapter, Chloe Heal, here to throw out the first pitch. Great job, Chloe. At this time, we ask you to face the flag for the playing of the national anthem, sung by Illinois Wesleyan University graduate and former Chicago Cubs and Blackhawks national anthem singer, Wayne Mesmer.
If you need a pitching switch, you know that you can count on her because she's going to do her job and she's going to do it really well.
Most certainly. Starting things off is Rachel Madsen, the center fielder for the North Central Cardinals, a sophomore from Kenosha. Kenosha, of course, also has Carthage College in the CCIW, so always interesting when you've got somebody from a hometown not playing for that said team. But nonetheless, Madsen steps into the box with a .315 batting average, the third best on her squad, 6 doubles, 2 homers, 5 stolen bases to put herself all in the top 3. She takes strike 2 to even the count now, Alex. It's going to be an interesting start to this game. These are teams that were ranked in the preseason poll to be 1 and 2 in the CCIW. However, not been the story. The Titans have held that one spot, an 8-0 conference record, but this North Central college team that comes in here today, coming in with a 5-6 conference record, putting them in 5th place.
A lot of times the preseason poll rankings they're not set in stone of how your season is going to go, and especially in conference matches and getting closer and closer to the CCIW Conference Championship, anything can happen, and it just comes down to which team wants it more.
No, most certainly. And again, these two teams, they got their rankings based off of how they performed last year, how roster dynamics change up in the offseason. But you can never truly rank opponents. As swinging strike on Matson, it's a K for Gianna Serta, and K number 198 in her career. We'll keep an eye on that mark as the game continues. But, you know, back to my point, as Vlack gets into the box, a junior from Aurora, you can only assume when you come to those preseason polls as a little bit of a slap hit goes foul. If you try and read into a preseason poll too much, you'll get caught up in it, and that doesn't merit what the teams are actually going to do on the field. However, when you go lower than what your projected ranking was, that's when you start kicking yourself and saying, where's the gear, where's the turn, where do we have to start changing something?
Definitely. You can't think about it too much. You kind of just have to keep doing what you're doing, focus on the present game, present plays, all that stuff, and your victories, and that will fall into place.
And Wismiller dives behind her, but unable to secure the catch. And so on base safely at first is the junior from Aurora in Gracie Vlack. An awkward play there for Casey Wismiller, and we'll see what the call is, as now I'm thinking we might be getting called foul. Yeah, we are getting a foul ball call. It's going to change here, Alex.
Now batting number 14.
Wait, they're going to call an out on it. They're not even calling foul. No, wait, nope, never mind. The PA jumped the gun early. It is just a foul ball. My apologies on jumping the gun there too. So they're going to change it to a foul ball call, which means that Gracie Vlack has to get back in the box on a 1-2 count. 1 out. Nobody on base because of that controversy. Serta digs herself back into the circle. Vlak's going to have to run one out. Wismiller across the diamond, and safe is the call on the catch by Corey, an infield single. Take another look at this one, Alex. Just being able to put the ball, again, it was a slap hit, but just getting the ball right where it needs to be able to use your legs and run something out. So now into the box is Talia Torosan, a graduate from Schaumburg, Illinois, who takes strike one. These two teams saw each other twice last year as well. The doubleheader happened at North Central College where the teams split their games, and it was Torresen's 2-for-4 RBI triple that started off game 2 and got the win for the Cardinals. So again, you have to keep those things in the back of your head. It's a new season. It could be a different player with different motives and different tendencies, but it doesn't change the fact that she was able to take advantage of you last time you saw each other. 0-2 between Serta and Torresen. Serta tries to get a chase, unsuccessful. Alex, a runner on first, one out, and somebody who's dangerous. As you know, I mean, we see her season stats with her 6 doubles, her 17 RBIs, both leading the team. Second team all CCIW the past 2 seasons. How do you what's the mentality for Serta playing against another conference foe up at the dish?
I mean, you kind of can't really focus on those things that the player has done. Obviously, she's got a lot of accolades, and that is an out as a ball drops in center field for a catch.
Number 12,
but you can't hold them on a pedestal and freak out thinking, oh, they've got so many accolades, they're so good. Obviously, her accolades show for herself her skill and ability, but you just have to match that with your own.
No, most certainly, Gianna Serta is no stranger herself to conference awards, being named the Pitcher of the Year last year in conference. But as you said, awards go out the window when it's just pitcher versus hitter at the in the middle of the field. Now to the plate, it's the designated player for today's contest, a junior from Mokina, Illinois, in Haley Morzovillo. I'm surprised she got the designated player spot because her fielding is still perfect on the season for this Cardinals team. 1-1 is her count. She leads the team in batting average with .366. And Alex, you typically don't really see the best batting average in this cleanup spot. As a liner to second, Hermes just going to flip it to Corey for out number 3. But as I was saying, we'll get back to it later, you don't typically see a average hitter in that 3 spot. It's normally reserved for power. It doesn't work the first time through the order for the Cardinals. So as we switch sides, we'll take a look at the starting pitcher for North Central. It is Sam Schliff, a junior from Warrenville, Illinois, who was on the second team All-CCIW last season. She leads the squad in ERA with .294, games started with 16, games completed with 7, shutouts with 2, innings with 90. Excuse me, 63K is the second best, and 21 appearances the second most. Her ERA in conference play, however, has jumped up a full percentage point at a 3.8, Alex. Thank you. So, going from a 2.9 to a 3.8 ERA, depending on your opponent, is not necessarily a bad thing. But when you think about it, going from a 2.8 to a 3.9, 2.9 to a 3.8, going from non-con to conference, that does kind of speak a little bit more and hold a little bit of a different value in a little bit different setting.
It would also depend on kind of who you played in the non-conference games, depending on what that competition was like, whether it was beneficial or not, especially from a practice standpoint, because those non-conference games, when you play more of those competitive teams, it gets you ready to play at a higher standard for the conference games and in preparation for CCIW and then postseason.
No, most certainly, and I know that both these squads played UW Whitewater, but again, I'm not a aficionado on how every team is doing, so I can't really go through and say, this is a quality opponent, this is an opponent to build confidence, and so it's hard to hard without spending hours and hours of watching and understanding everything to understand that side of things again. And you also don't know, without just looking on paper as well and looking at records, what the team's tendencies were and trends at that time and how they've kind of recollected and what they were missing and what's going on. So as you said, it's definitely an ever-changing element. As we have our first dog sighting in the ballpark, I think I saw your eyes
Chief.
wandering that way.
It's Kennedy's dog, Chief.
And now in the hands of Chloe, who threw out that first pitch to start things off here on Pride Day. So it's 2-1 now on Haley Milgazzo, who she started the season, now 2-2 as her count, started the season as the leadoff hitter. After a couple of those tournaments, she's seen herself in, out of the lineup, down in the lineup, in a lot of different spots, but has refound her position and place here at the top of the order. Milgazzo swings through that one for strike 3, a strikeout early for Schliff.
Number 5, Anna Beckman.
So now it's Anna Beckman, somebody who's been getting better and better as the season goes on. 13 stolen bases and 2 triples to lead the team, but a .330 batting average, 10 doubles, 21 RBIs. That's tied for the third most on the team. And the doubles as well, third most on the squad. The junior from Bourbonnais has just been getting better and better as this season has progressed, and it's going to be exciting to see what she has in store this afternoon. 1-1 the count, but Alex, talk to me about how do you kind of build off your teammates' momentum when they're playing at their best?
I mean, when they're playing at their best, that creates energy for them and energy as a team, especially with a team like this who has such a good culture, such good team chemistry. They feed off of each other's energy, and all of the girls are completely energetic, positive. They have a great attitude for every game, every practice. So just building off of that energy for each other, especially when they have incredible performances and they're continuing to build on their own skills and level up themselves, that just creates a way better atmosphere and can definitely help in those tough situations when they need to draw upon that energy.
No, most certainly. It's always easier to be able to find a spark when somebody else is able to provide it, as a Beckman who's been making those sparks works the walk. It's just her 4th walk of the season, but nonetheless it gets her on base and starts the inning off with already an out for Jen Kuhn, who, you know, we've talked how monstrous of a season she's had all year long. I think monstrous is a silly word, but when you have a career .400 batting average stemmed because of this season hovering around 500, now sitting right now currently at .476, but still, when you have a batting average that's been sitting around 500 the entire season, I mean, what else would you call it other than monstrous?
It's an insane hitting percentage and batting average for Jen Kuhn, and also a little bittersweet. You know, she's a senior. They just had their senior day last Saturday, so you know, the feeling she just wants to go out with a bang, and I would too.
Anna Beckman just swiped second base. We talked about how she leads the team in stolen bases. Well, that's her 14th on the season. So somebody who we know is going to be aggressive on the base paths starts things off and puts herself in scoring position for the dangerous Kuhn. Jen Kuhn, a senior from Normal. You talked about how it's a bittersweet finale, but she's doing it in her own backyard in front of her own family and friends as she swings through that one for strike 2. I mean, obviously a lot of this roster and a lot of Illinois Wesleyan and other CCIW teams stem from within the state. But talk about being within this city, being in, and again, I know you can't talk necessarily about this because you are not from Bloomington or Normal, as Beckman's going to take third off of that pitch. And so now, as I teed you up for a question, we'll talk about Tiffany Prager giving some words of encouragement to Anna Beckman, who just took 2 bags and is now just 1 away from getting the first run. But back to my point, as Jen Kuhn's going to hit this one hard, they're going to take the out instead and let Beckman score, so it's an RBI for Kuhn and 1-0 for the Titans. Again, Jen Kuhn would have probably preferred getting on base with that one, but doesn't change the fact that that hard hit ball was able to score Anna Beckman. So now as Ava Corey comes up, and the question still permits, with her being from Columbia, Illinois, what does it mean to not just play for a university that's in your for your teammates? I would say, because again, you're not from the area, but what does it mean to be able to play in the city you're from, not just the state you're from? And you can answer it after this grounder out number 3 for Vlack. But anyways, finally, Alex, after all of that.
Yeah, I mean, on my team at least, for women's volleyball, we have, I think, 3 girls that are from in town, live close by. So at least for them, I know, like, it's really nice because you can have family, you can have friends in the area come to support you at these games, and you know, like, just playing for your family, playing for those people that are close to you, it just builds the community, builds the energy, builds your confidence as well. You know that people are in the stands supporting you, that kind of thing. So I think it's really nice, especially from Jen Kuhn's standpoint as a senior as well. It's her last year. She just wants as many people out here at these games as she can get, build the community, and make her last year a good one.
No, most definitely. You always want to end your senior campaign, your best campaign. No question about that. But being able to do it without having, again, when you're in that town next door, you don't need to worry about, all right, Mom, this is going to be a great weekend to come down. We have a day off on Sunday so we can grab dinner. No, your parents, your friends from high school, everybody is down the road, and so you have the ability to be able to call on them from freshman year all the way to senior year, but for every game in your final ride, and it makes it even more bittersweet knowing that they're able to be a part of the entire journey with you just because of proximity more than anything else. So here's the catcher in Kayla Crabtree, a junior from Frankfort, Illinois. A 0-2 count after swinging through that high pitch from Serta. A great ability to just use that rise ball to elevate swing and misses. Crabtree, second best on the team in average and RBIs with 325 and 15 each. She's got 6 doubles, 3 home runs, and 5 hit by pitches, which is all the most on this Cardinal squad. Hard hit ball, and it's scathing foul, and it goes into the dugout. Ava Corey thought she would have a play on it. Instead, it just drops right into the Cardinal dugout. Maybe Crabtree didn't like somebody in there, but more or not, she just wasn't able to get it fair enough and didn't get it on the bat as she wanted it to. Ava Corey, we've seen make a lot of plays in foul territory. Again, Ava Corey, that first baseman over there, was the NFCA Rollins Gold Glove first baseman last season. And, I mean, when you have somebody who you know you can count on defensively, as well as a bat that's just been getting better all year long in Ava Corey, it's a piece, again, another senior that you don't want to have to lose if you're Tiffany Prager. 2-2 for Crabtree. As we talked when this game was starting, we do have, I guess we'll call Illinois Wesleyan royalty in the house, as Carol Willis is sat right to our left here in the press box as a liner to Wismiller at third. Crabtree runs it out, but it doesn't matter because it was out on the fly. A quick glove of Wismiller diffuses the first batter of the Cardinals. Alex, I'm not sure if you know Carol Willis, who's seated to our left at all, but kind of talk to me about the, again, namesake on this field, but we talked a little bit pregame. Talk to the fans about what kind of an impact she's had on the softball program as well as just Wesleyan as a whole. Yeah,
for sure. I personally don't know Carol Willis, but she did come and talk to the volleyball team, I know, at some point in the past few years. She's a huge donor to women's athletics here at Illinois Wesleyan. We're all incredibly grateful for her donations and everything that she has given us. You can often find her in our dining hall. I know I've spotted her a couple times in the past few weeks while she's been here. But she helped to renovate this field and make Inspiration Field what it is, what we can see today with the outfield padding and the press box that we're so lucky to have. So a huge thanks to Carol Willis and everything that she's done for Illinois Wesleyan, especially women's athletics here.
No, absolutely. Somebody who's made sure that their impact is well known, not just on the softball program, but on women's athletics here as a whole. Somebody who's very generous donations can't be forgotten, even with a name on the corners of this field. As that one probably stung a little bit for Bailey Miller, the junior from Newbury Park, California. She's going to take a minute to just take a deep breath after that one went off her. But as you were talking, I'll make sure to go back real briefly as Bomar struck out to Gianna Serta. And so 2 down as Miller gets back in the box for her 0-2. After taking a minute to breathe, she hits it out of play. Back into the dugout. Ava Corey put forth the effort like always, but I don't think she ever had a chance at just getting to that ball with where it landed.
Despite her height and her long arms, she can't get to that one.
And, we talked already earlier on the season, but new game, we can talk about it again. She does have the other side of her family tree. Her mom's sister has a family with 4 not Division I, but 4 college basketball daughters, including a Division I player on Bradley. So that basketball gene, she took the softball route, but all of her cousins are in that basketball gene. So that length and that size is going to good use in the Corey McDougal tree.
Oh, for sure.
1-2. It's a roped ball, but it's well fouled down that third base line. So Miller, now she was ahead. Now she's early on these, or behind and now early on these last couple swings, Alex. She's got to find her spot to be able to put this ball in between those 2 white lines. The goal, of course, during your at-bat, a off-speed pitch went too inside for her to want to swing at it, so it evens the count. Miller's been in control this at-bat, being able to battle back, being able to get out of the way of anything that she doesn't want to swing at and get those called balls. But you have to also give credit to Gianna Serta to be able to continue to deliver strong pitches, as the Wesleyan dugout made a comment that made our umpire stop play and have some words. Not sure what that was about, but we resume action. 2-2, off-speed pitch, and Miller's going to put it right over the head of Jen Kuhn at short, and it's a single for the Cardinals.
Now batting, number 28.
That's how you battle in an at-bat, Alex. You're just able to get foul balls to be able to stay alive, and then you find your pitch once it's given to you, and you hit it to where it needs to be. Next up is Sydney Ninehouse, a freshman from Frankfort, Illinois, drives this one to left. Milgazzo under it and grabs out number 3. We'll take a quick break to hear a word from our sponsors here and bring you back for the Titans in the hitting in the bottom of the second. You're watching IWSports.com.
NCAA Championships, noise is made here. Memories are made here. Champions win here. The only thing missing here is you. The NCAA Division III Softball Championship coming to Bloomington, Illinois this May. Get your tickets today at ncaa.com/tickets.
Welcome back here at Inspiration Field at Carol Willis Park here in Bloomington, Illinois. It's the bottom of the second, and the Titans grabbed that 1-0 lead in the first. We will see if they're able to extend it here. Again, we're very early. It's just the bottom of the second, but last year when these two squads played, it was a 2-0 Game 1 victory for the Titans and a 4-0 Game 2 victory for the Cardinals. So 2 shutouts, 2 relatively low-scoring affairs. So we will have to see if the Titans are able to kind of repeat that outcome, get Game 1 and then reverse it for Game 2, or what I think Coach Tiffany Prager and everyone else would feel more comfortable with, which is let's get a lot more runs than 2. You got 6 innings to do that, so no sense of urgency yet, but when you got the home run threat of Claire Post at the plate, you can always count one to get over that wall. And I said the home run threat because Claire Post, she had a fine start to her season, no discredit to her, but after those she got to this park, she has been turning things up. She's elevated her batting average to a second best on the team, 382. She's hit 6 home runs, 5 of which since that first game at home. 21 RBIs, second most on the team. A junior from Normal, Illinois, who maybe that Normal kid needed to just come back home to be able to start having the success she's needed. And after Jen Kuhn, the most success in the last couple weeks for this Titans squad. And that's an opinion-based statement. I don't want any parents of anybody getting upset that I said their kid is not doing as good or this athlete is not doing as good. In my opinion, Claire Post has been the most influential part of this group the last couple weeks. Alex, would you agree with that statement as she takes strike 2 for a full count?
I would definitely agree with that statement, especially for being an upperclassman, being a junior. I know a lot of the underclassmen and the freshmen that I've heard from look up to her a lot, and she's one of those key players on the team that you can always go to for advice. She's very knowledgeable, and certainly her skills have shown what she can do and how she does it. A lot of home runs, so that's definitely something that has brought up the energy, brought up the anticipation, and the excitement for getting into conference play and postseason as well.
No, you're most certainly right, and even going back to just her catching ability, as you said, her intelligence is another grounder to second, and so that's the third out to be made by Vlack here in just 2 innings. But back to my point, when you have somebody who's a catcher, you look at them normally as a leader, as an intelligent baseball, softball mind, just because of the position they play, and her arm, her fielding behind the dish has never once wavered all season long, and then the bat has just slowly been getting better and better as Bella Pinter hits a ball to short, an awkward play on the run, and she's able to run it out and get on base at first.
Number 20, Ella Hermes.
So now it's Ella Hermes, who, again, somebody who did not have a starting spot at second base earlier on this season. It really was Annika Brown, and now you're looking at somebody who, in Ella Hermes, who's been playing strong in the field, and not just her pitching is getting herself in the lineup as she swings through strike 1. Called time there from Schliff. So 1 out, 1 on. We had this story in the first inning, and we witnessed Beckman steal 2 bags and a bunt and steal for the Titans, and they do get Hermes safe on first base. It was hard for me to see the angle of that umpire's call, but the bunt and steal gets 2 to remain safe on the base pads. Watch her run this one out. It was a bang play, and she gets there in time.
A beautifully placed bunt, just landing right by that foul line, not quite crossing it, so definitely safe, definitely got a run.
Right, you were able to advance on the infield single. And so strike 1 called to Casey Wismiller, who's somebody who we've seen have astronomical success for this Illinois Wesleyan Titan program hasn't had what she's been looking for this season. Swinging through that one for strike 2. She went from a .350 career batting average now this season hitting .292. And hitting .292 is a great mark, but not to her level and her expectations, number one. And number two, you look at a team as talented as the Titans are, and it makes sense why somebody who's having their slump right now gets moved down to 8. So ball 1 goes to the third baseman. She was on the third-team All-Region last year after picking up a first-team and second-team All-CCIW, the second-team her freshman year, the first-team her sophomore campaign. So somebody who, just as I said, has always been as a consistent and strong player, but having a small dip in her normal numbers this season is 2-2 with 1 out and 2 runners on. This is where you had a prime opportunity to be able to come back from any struggles you've been having and get the confidence right back underneath your fingertips. Fouling that one back evens the count at 2-2. Wismiller looks at that one outside, and so a full count. Wis is where she wants to be with 1 out and 2 on. She just needs to get on base here to keep the Titans inning alive, and if not, she needs to put a ball in play that can advance the runners safely, as you need to extend your lead. She hits a hard ball. It's a bounce to second, and it's an awkward roll out of the glove of Vlock and into the hands of Baumar. But Baumar is able to tag Wismiller for out number 2, and so runners on second and third, and immediately a conversation between Coach Venus Taylor in her 5th season and this umpire crew. They're definitely going to be arguing for interference there with the runner going from first to second in Hermes. Alex, what'd you see on that one?
I mean, it was really close. She ran right almost in front of that ball, almost kind of stepped on it, but I don't know if the ball hit her and changed direction, if that was part of the interference, or at least her feet, if she kicked it a little bit, but I guess we'll see once the umpires are done with this conversation here.
Yeah, with a lot of shaking of the head, I'm going to guess that means no contact, because the call again on the field was that there was no interference. And that is, I think, what this call is going to remain. You can see it was an awkward move because Hermes paused off the rip and then realized, oh, I do have to get to second in time, though. And so, again, the base path goes to the runner with the exception of a ball hitting said runner. And so they are not going to call interference, and instead we got a runner out at first. The runner's out at first, which makes me curious on it makes me re-second think everything that has gone on, but we've got runners on second and third. We've got 2 outs, and it is Grace Wilkins at the dish. The freshman who's got a twin on this squad has continued to layer ground. 2 outs. You didn't have to go home. You just needed the lead runner, and Crabtree was not able to grab that flick midair, and so Pinter scores run number 2 for Illinois Wesleyan.
Now batting, number 1, Haley Milgazzo.
I mean, Pinter was close to just getting there anyways, but she was able to get in without contention just because of that Crabtree. And again, Crabtree covered, but with 2 outs, you just needed to pick that ball up and go to first base. As Milgazzo just stands still, a very late throw is going to bring run number 3 home for the Titans. They are not going to get Wilkins trying to take third base. So Wilkins had a very slow steal of second, which allowed Hermes to take home plate. And on that throw, it was a late throw after the very lazily steal. The lazy steal was unintentional, of course, to try and errant a throw. Throw came late. Nobody was ready for it in the middle infield for the Cardinals. And so we had the result we witnessed as Melgazo's hard hit ball to Vlack, making that second baseman keep working. And so I'm not going to send it to break solely because I want to make sure we're all caught up. We had Pinter get a single. Then Hermes pushed Pinter over with her single. Wismiller gets that awkward play at first base where she's out, but we had that little bit of a break just to talk about the interference. Then Wilkins, she puts down a bunt, and just to be able to try and outrun it, they don't even throw it to first. They instead try and flick it to home to get the lead runner, which they didn't need with 2 outs. Successfully, Titans score and get the runner safely to first. As you can see, them just dancing and enjoying this new mood that they've got themselves, and why wouldn't they? And to cap it all off, you have the intentional steal and steal that gets you your third run in the game based off the errant throw. What's going on in the mentality now of the Cardinals and Coach Venus Taylor after all of that?
I think right now, especially with the Titans making some momentum plays and being up 3 runs to none, I think right now what the Cardinals are just trying to do is just try to get hitters on the bases, try to get runners on the bases, and make plays so that they can, 1, when they're in the outfield, stop the Titans from scoring these runs, and 2, so they can try to score some runs themselves.
Yeah, one common thread about Illinois Wesleyan athletics, they play fast.
I think that's, you can see that in a lot of our sports and athletics here, but I mean more noticeably in softball. In this softball team, something I've noticed, they've just, when they make a good play, they take it and they run with it. There's no roller coaster up and down. They keep that momentum and they take it with them, and it's hard for the other teams to get back in and pop up.
Little blooper, Claire Post thought that Wismiller was going to get it, then realized it was closer to her, but didn't want a collision, so Creeth is going to get a second opportunity. Yeah, that was not the right communication from the Titans, but also smart enough to not try and get an injury out of that one.
Yeah, no collisions here today, hopefully.
So Carly Creeth, the sophomore from Chicago, she's at third base today, a .233 batting average on the season. Evens the count at 2 apiece. Serta knows she has room to work with, and she gets career strikeout number 200 on that confusion illusion of a pitch.
Number 21, Rachel Madsen.
Again, that's not a milestone I think Gianna Serta is going to be thinking about much, especially in the middle of a game, but what does strikeout number 200 you think mean to her after this game is wrapped up?
I mean, definitely from a pitching standpoint, huge milestone. 200 strikeouts is really impressive, especially at the D3 collegiate level here at Illinois Wesleyan University, and her being the kind of ace pitcher for the Titans, certainly huge milestone. I think her teammates and coaches are going to be very proud of her and hoping to keep that momentum and propel her forward through the CCIW championship and the postseason playoffs.
Most certainly, and so back to the top of the order for the Cardinals. It's Rachel Madsen, the sophomore from Kenosha, Wisconsin. She's leading the team with 4 doubles in conference play. And somebody who just has been having a solid season with a .315 batting average, 6 doubles, 2 home runs, 5 stolen bases. Following this one to fight in the at-bat and even the count at 2 apiece. Close pitch there, and they're going to call ball 3, so it's a full count. And now if you're Gianna Serta, you've got to just forget about that pitch and move on to this next one. But if you're Madsen, you realize that that's one you're allowed to take and hope you get another one there and are able to get on first base or swing at something closer. She goes to the low pitch and it gets underneath it for strike 3.
Now batting, number 11, Gracie Vila.
I mean, these strikeouts, they've been coming left and right. Yes, it's our 4th of the game, but the more important fact is they've all been swinging Ks, and a swinging strikeout's harder to do, Alex, because that means they're making an attempt, obviously, to put the bat on the ball, and so not like you have to be the one that has the better. Your stuff has to be better than theirs. Is that's going to be single number 2 for Vlack, Gracie Vlack. She had that foul ball in the first and then was able to come back and get a single here. She gets a single off the first pitch of this game of the new at-bat. So somebody who's been able to figure out Gianna Serta, other than her 2 hits and Miller's 1 hit, nobody else through this lineup, it being the 3rd batter on the 2nd time through, able to find success as a swing and a miss there for Torreson. For strike 1. Torreson, again, we talked about earlier, Alex, how much of a threat she was the last time these two schools saw each other. The graduate student from Schaumburg has had her names written in the conference, all conference teams, second teams the last 2 seasons. But even this year, her 6 doubles is tied for the most on her squad, as well as earning 17 RBIs to go along with that 265 batting average. Wanted that pitch, but lays off it for ball 2. Hard hit, but it's going to go foul. So, Alex, you've got runner on first base. You've got 2 strikeouts. You have to assume with this 2-2 pitch, she's looking to make her miss. But if it's a pitch that's too far away that it's going to be called a ball, you then risk another full count. And we saw how that we got a K in the last full count, but that doesn't mean you're always going to get that result. It'll be interesting to see if Serta tries what she does with this 2-2 pitch. She goes up the middle, and Beckman nearly makes the grab. Instead, it hits the grass, and so runner will get to first safely and take second. So runner's now on 2nd and 3rd after that play in the outfield by Beckman. So a very different spot than where we were moments ago. Now it is runners on second and 3rd. Instead of just a runner on first, it's runners on 2nd, 3rd with your 2 outs, and so have to be thinking a lot more carefully about this batter. Up the middle, it gets past Jen Kuhn. It's going to score 1. The second is rounding. Torreson's not going to have contention. It's 2 runs for Morsovilo, and it's a 2-run single to get them just 1 run behind the Titans.
All you need is 1 momentum play to get the ball rolling, and Cardinals are certainly using that to their advantage here, coming close behind the Titans.
Yeah, and you said it yourself, to get the ball rolling. It rolled past Jen Kuhn, and it results in 2 runners to score. And the lead's not gone. The Titans are still up, but going from up 3 to up 1, it's a very big shock and change and awe. And again, last year when these 2 schools played, 2 shutouts. We were not expecting a shutout today, but that doesn't change the fact that the runs have been the bats have been very strong on both sides to get things going here. So now it's Crabtree. She hit a liner to 3rd over there towards Wismiller, who was able to make a great stop the first frame, but a ball like that without going directly at a pitcher or at a fielder is going to go for a hit, at least 1 bag. And so I have to be very curious to see what she's able to do with this at-bat. The 0-2, and it's strike 3, but Claire Post was not able to grab it and gets her out on the drop, strike 3. First base coach doesn't like it, but however, that's the call. We're not going to go to break yet because want to make sure that they are. Alex, we'll just stay here because I don't think the Cardinals are going to argue it, but their coaching staff not happy about that one. If you're the Titan defense, how do you respond on offense after losing your lead? And on that, and again, that was a bane play there, but back to my point, how do you respond after losing your lead like that?
I mean, it's just going to be one of those things that you're going to have to focus on making future plays, focus on the next one. You can't start to get in that mindset that you're down or that you're losing, because that's just going to deplete the energy, deplete the momentum. But the Titans have still made some really great plays and have gotten some really good at-bats. So as long as they keep that going and continue their momentum, they can keep their lead and stay in front of the Cardinals.
No, most certainly. And so you just got, I mean, at the end of the day, you just need to take a deep breath, realize you're still up, realize you're back to Anna Beckman, the 2-hole in this lineup, and realize we just got to go up and swing the bats and get more runs and just do what we did to start things off, and then everything's going to be back to normal and okay. Part of the challenge of the sport is just not getting in your own head. And Anna Beckman's got to be the first one who made a mistake out in the outfield. It wasn't an error, but it was still not able to get to that ball, and she has to be the first one to go out there and say, all right, let's forget and move on. I think this is, again, softball is one of the most mental games and mental sports that there is. You just have to be able to learn how to have short-term memory loss as well, and at the exact same time, remember forever the good moments.
Something that we say in our program, at least, is be a goldfish with the memory. A goldfish is known for forgetting things almost instantly, so those bad plays, those mistakes, those errors, you got to immediately forget them and focus on the next one.
And what do you do if somebody you can tell is not able to forget about it and not able to move on? How do you then motivate them to be able to forget and move on, as Beckman's showing that she can forget and have that goldfish memory as she belts that single down the gap in the left side of the infield?
I mean, it definitely comes down to teammates and communicating, and you know your teammate well, you know what they need when they get in their head, and it's just trying to get them out of it and giving them that encouragement, that reassurance that they know what to do. Was that
was a lacrosse ball that just...
Men's lacrosse is currently practicing over at Tucci Stadium, so...
Yeah, that lacrosse ball just hit dead center of the backstop net, and I don't know what they did to laser a ball into the middle of this field, but we've now got a professor who's going to take the ball over there, and I think he's going to have some stern talking to the gentleman over at Tucci Stadium.
I mean, we've heard of some balls ricocheting off of the goal and getting all the way over here. We've heard some stories about that, so I'm assuming a little shootout drill over there has gone wrong.
I mean, that ball didn't just hit the dead center of this net, it came in with velocity.
And it hit the pole and ricocheted off of it, too.
And that scared the whole crowd here at Inspiration Field. They're not going to go for the lead runner. Instead, they get Jen Kuhn across the diamond for out number 1. And so Beckman's able to advance to second base. After all that, we started talking about how to build up that confidence. We talked about just being able to be there for your teammate, and then we transpired to our what's going on over at Tucci Stadium, which we know is men's lacrosse practice, but don't know how that really got to where it did. But nonetheless, every patron here at Inspiration Field is now frightened at the lacrosse team.
I mean, I was already afraid for some of these foul softballs hitting the stands, but now we got to worry about lacrosse balls too.
Yeah, I don't think they were expecting balls from every direction. I thought they were thinking, all right, I can watch the game, then I'll know if something's going to come and hit me, not something coming from the side of them. So it's a 2-0 for Ava Corey. Hard hit ball, and it gets over the glove in right field of Miller. It gets Beckman to third. A close play at second. Beckman's able to score. I still never saw if she was out or safe at second. The umpire never made a signal, but with her standing at second, I'm going to assume the RBI double stands. So that's how you respond. You get a single, then you push the runner over, then you hit him home. So Claire Post takes ball number 1. She grounded out to second, which, let's talk about that for a second, Alex. 1, 2, 3, 4. On my notes, 5. On my notes, we have 5 of our 7 outs have been made by the second baseman over there in Gracie Vlack, the junior from Aurora. I don't think she expected to have 5 of the 7 outs in the top or bottom of the third inning, but she's been peppered over there at second. Do you think that's just been sheer luck, or do you think that's been part of the game plan to go after the strong glove of Vlack?
You know, it could go either way. I think a good majority of the hits are probably just trying to take a swing at something and get it out there so you can get runners on base. So in that instance, I'm going more the route of it is kind of coincidence, but I mean, it could also be game plan to go after that and just keep peppering her, tiring her out, and that kind of thing.
Right, especially when she is a slap hitter. Being tired out in the field doesn't help her much when she has to get into the box and start to run at some balls to be able to get some hits. So Claire Post, 3-1 pitch. A change of speed. It gets under the glove of third. That was Creeth. And Corey decides to stay. Tiffany Prager, I think, initially wanted her to go home and get run number 5. But instead, she holds up and a double for Post.
We got Riley McDaniel coming on to second base here for Claire Post.
Yeah, probably a smart call there on that to for Ava Corey to stay. I think Tiffany Prager as well probably wanted to make her stay. So, as you said, Riley McDaniel, we've had her up here in the booth once. Over there, she normally plays second base, but the freshman from Orland Park's going to run for her catcher. So now it's Bella Pinter. She singled in the second inning to really start this rally here, and that got 2 of the runs across for the Titans. She takes ball 1, which is more pitches than she already has seen. Or now we have more pitches than her first at-bat, and a riser gets her the second. So they don't really want to pitch to Pinter. I've seen Bella Pinter hit in a lot of different spots, but the freshman from Lamole, Illinois, I've seen her a lot in the last couple of weeks. That one in that 2 spot, they've hid the dangerous bat in that 6 spot, but didn't hide her well enough to the eyes of North Central, as they're definitely not trying to give her something she wants to swing at. That time I had to work a little bit to try and make contact, and unsuccessful to make it the 2-1. That pitch, Pinter kind of moved out of the way on it, but nonetheless it went down the pipe, so 2 strikes to go along with her 2 balls. Again, she singled last time up. Runners on second and third with 1 out. She's going to time this one up.
A couple of our athletic trainers are coming up the bleachers here.
To return the favor, Bella Pinter just hit a foul ball onto the track at Tucci Stadium. We'll see how, I don't know how far, see, at least I made a joke, somebody laughed. We'll see how far it rolls and how, if it does any damage or at least scares the men's lacrosse players. I don't think it's going to scare them, but you're shaking your head. No, I don't think it's going to scare them, but maybe it'll make one of them just be like, hey, where'd that come from? Even though there's a game going on next door that they probably can hear and see. Full count now for Pinter. Runners both in scoring position with 1 out to her team's name. 4-2 ball game. Hard hit ball. Straight back to short. And they're going to get the double play. A clean double play as they get Ava Corey going back to the base after grabbing the line out on Pinter. And so after that, a smart heads-up play to grab 2. We will go into the top of the fourth with a 4-2 lead for the Titans. You're watching IWSports.com. Welcome back to Inspiration Field. I'm Caden Sexton. Alongside me is Alex Bardenitis. We're 3 innings down and 6 runs scored. So, I mean, that averages a run a half inning if you at home want to do some math. And we have a pinch hitter already into the game. It's Megan Traxiner, a freshman from Eagle River, Arkansas, in to hit for Bomar. So Traxiner, we'll see if she comes out and plays first base, but for now we've got to worry about her swing. Fouls off the first pitch. Traxiner, a .400 batter on the season with 1 double and 2 walks. In conference play, her .462 batting average is the second highest on the team, which again, .462 or batting average and .400 batting average in conference play and in regulation. That's some high numbers, and your first thought is, how many games has she played in? Well, I mean, Traxiner hasn't played, as this one's hit hard to right field. Not Ava Corey, Grace Wilkins able to track that down. Traxiner's played in 13 games, this being her 14th, so those numbers not too skewed, but nonetheless, the .400 hitter goes down by the glove of Wilkins. So back to normalcy. I wasn't not too surprised that Bailey Miller, the junior from Newberry Park, California, is going to keep her spot. She's been on fire in conference play with the tied for the most RBIs with 8 and 2 homers. She has a single today, but that was a fly out as well to Grace Wilkins in right. So after having no action on the right side of the outfield, 2 pitches back-to-back flyouts to Wilkins. It's a little bit of a wake-up call out there, Alex. Just like the men's lacrosse team had on that foul ball in the last at-bat, this one's going to be called foul, and so Ninehouse just stops her run halfway down, and instead is going to have to go back strike 1. She flew out to Haley Milgazzo and left the last time she was at the plate. High pitch there, even the count at 1 apiece. Last night, this North Central squad had a doubleheader against Carroll. They took game 1 2-1, and in game number 2, they lost 2-1. So same score, but except a loss. Only difference, it went 10 innings, 3 extras. So a very tired team because you didn't just have a doubleheader. You had a doubleheader plus extra innings and then had to make a road trip down to Bloomington. Again, Naperville to Bloomington's about 2 hours, but doesn't change the fact that you got to play 17 innings of softball and then hop on a bus. So.
Yeah, I would be really tired. Wow, that's a quick turnaround, especially just thinking about how much energy you spent on that game yesterday. Hopefully they got a good night of rest before they got on the bus out here.
That one hits the walking path and then bounces it onto the track, but out of play, 2-2. But as you were saying, even on top of that, there's this thing called school that these athletes who are student athletes have to also worry about. So you had 17 innings of softball yesterday. You're either in or you're close to your finals, as it's a hard hit ball and a second one out there to left caught by Melgazo. And so a very tired team, which could play to the Titans' advantage after not playing a game since their senior day on Saturday. 3 up, 3 down, all flyouts in the corners here at Inspiration Field. We'll be back after this on iwsports.com.
Need tickets to that next event? Well, at 12 Ounce Sports, we've got them with soccer anywhere in the world. Tickets to any venue, any sport. Want to go to NCAA or NFL football matches? We've got them. Baseball at every level. Every Power 5 matchup is available. Don't forget, costumes and paint are optional. What's that? You want to go to Broadway? We have those too. Want to jam out? Every concert, every artist. That's right, at 12 Ounce Sports, we've got the tickets for less. 12ozsports.com/tickets. That's 12ouncesports.com/tickets.
Welcome back to Inspiration Field. I'm Caden Sexton. Alongside me, it's Alex Bardenitis. We've got Ella Hermes at the plate for the Titans. She's a 1-for-1 today after singling. This one right back up the middle, an extension by the pitcher in Schleff for out number 1.
Number 11, Casey Wismiller.
So Casey Wismiller now, so we had a lot of slow play and now some quick at-bats here at Inspiration Field. It brings Casey Wismiller, who grounded out to second base. The first time she was up, she swings through that low pitch for strike 1. A lot of low-pitch swing and misses here for the Titans. It's something that Tiffany Prager and the rest of the coaching staff probably wants to address sooner rather than later, that they're able to get you when they go low, so wait for them to go high and be able to capitalize. Because when the pitches have to be elevated to get strikes, the Titans are putting bat on ball, getting some hits, but they love to swing at these low pitches early. Some nice chants now beginning in the Titan dugout as that pitch goes foul for strike 2. One, 2 count, 1 out in the bottom of the 4th inning. A 4-2 game for Illinois Wesleyan as it's 2-2 now on that missed pitch. Wismiller would love to just get some confidence in herself. A hard hit ball. It's going back into left field. That one cleared the wall, but it was foul. A home run if it had just went a couple feet to the right. And that's where you, as Casey Wismiller, you've got that swing might just have brought your confidence back, but it also brings fear into the hearts of the Cardinals. Here's the 2-2, and she fouls that one back, and that's the swing that the Cardinals like more to see. Wismiller steps back into the box. 2 back-to-back foul balls with 2 completely different launch angles and landing zones. And that one she allows to get called for ball number 3. And so quickly a full count for Casey Wismiller. 1 out, nobody on. Fouls that one back, and it'll go on a fly onto the field at Tucci Stadium. I wonder what happens when when Tucci Stadium has an actual game. You know, today it's just practice, but how do you think the madness goes when we've got 2 games swinging at each other back to back?
I think a lot of lost balls.
Because I know, your sport obviously is volleyball. You play inside. It's going to be a walk on a full count for Wismiller. You play inside, and so when somebody else has an event, you don't have to worry about it because they are not on your gym.
It's really nice being the only team playing in the gym, and only when we're in tournaments and we got multiple courts going do those balls start rolling on other courts, but we don't have to worry about balls flying at our heads.
And so when you're in a tournament and a ball obviously stops play and cause a delay, what does that do to the momentum of your team?
Well, I mean, it can get really annoying, especially if it happens multiple times, and it just kind of makes you act up. But you gotta keep your cool, keep calm. I mean, if a bad play happened and you made a mistake, great, it's a replay. But you know, get a little frustrating if you made a really good play and then they said nope, doesn't count.
I can only imagine as a quick meeting, not between pitcher and coach, but between head coach Venus Taylor and the catcher in Crabtree. Now they call safe, and Taylor out of the dugout to have a lot of words. She's not too happy about that call on Casey Wismiller. She thought that Wismiller should be picked off at first base from her catcher. Instead, umpires call safe, and they're going to stick with that one. Grace Wilkins will re-enter the box. 0-1 on the day and 1-0 in the count. Going to call time. I'm not sure what that time was for, but we play on with 1 out and a runner on first. They're anticipating the bunt again. Wilkins does it. Picked up by third baseman, and it is safe. And so the throw not in time from Creeth, and now runners on first and second thanks to the legs of Grace.
Another really great bunt. The first one we saw from Ella Hermes, but great placement. You can see right in front of home plate. She gave herself time to run, and she made it safe.
Right, that's what you really hope to do when you're going to put a bunt down, is have the time to be able to run it out. And now more words between Venus Taylor, the North Central head coach, and this umpire crew. And I think that's going to be because we're having some changes, or we just need... I think there's some level of change. I'm not sure to what extent going on now. I see wristband went off of Creeth, and it went on Emma Herder, the junior infielder from Frankfurt, who I don't have Herder on my starting lineup card, so I'm going to guess Herder's now checking into the game, but to what extent, especially with our umpires still having a conversation with Venus Taylor, I can only assume this is about all the calls happening in the field, or it's just a stalling tactic for the bullpen. Now going over to Tiffany Prager to make sure both sides understand. Looks like we have some position. Okay, so unless if this is just a shift for... I'm not going to write anything in my book because Melgazo's up, and I feel like that changes everything as well because of the slap-hitting lefty. But currently, the defense has shifted to our shortstop in Torreson going to third, our second baseman in Vlack going to short, and now the third baseman hole is filled by number 17, Emma Herder, a junior who kind of is going out there, I guess, to replace Creeth. But to what extent, with Creeth being, again, when you have somebody in your 9 spot, you typically have them in the 9 spot because of their glove, not because of their 200 hitting bat. And so a very unusual switch up. I can see Creeth in the dugout. She's walking around without a trainer, and she's grabbing her back. Is she leaving? I can't tell what's going on at this point. Maybe that was what a conversation was. I really have. I'm jumping to conclusions and I'm making observations as Melgazo pulls a ball and it's getting past the center fielder. It scores 1, and the Titans get run number 5 after all that confusion here in this game.
Number 5, Anna Beckman.
So a beautiful RBI double for Melgazo after having some time off. So now here's Beckman. Wismiller just scored. So Wismiller's run is number 5 as Anna Beckman's in the box. Wilkins at third with Melgazo over there at second base. So 2 runners in scoring position with 1 out. Beckman 1 for 1 today with a walk and a single. Hits this ball to first. They're going to go home, and they do get Grace Wilkins trying to advance. So Beckman will be safe at first on a fielder's choice, and Melgazo gets third, but Wilkins is out in a conversation now with Tiffany Prager, who wants to know if Wilkins got under that slide. She says no, and then tells her runners 2 outs, run on anything. We've got roller skates here in the front row. Again, I have the mind of somebody who just wants to know, or who just wants to see what's going on and all that jazz, and I see roller skates just rolling through, and that just threw me off everything. Jen Kuhn to the plate, a 480 batter, swings through strike 1, and Beckman trying to hold up to not have to take second. And she did that to try and get a throw that would score Melgazo, but they saw that song and dance a moment ago, and so they eat off it and let Jen Kuhn sit with her 1 strike and ponder on it. Jen Kuhn fouls that one back, so Kuhn 0 for 2 today with 2 groundouts, now 0 for 2 in the count. A lot more confusion here. We seem to not have any clean innings today at Inspiration Field. As Jen Kuhn, the veteran, going to time this one up. Wild pitch, and it's going to score. Haley Melgazo, the energized sophomore, gets run number 6. It moves Beckman to third base, somebody who we know has had an active day on the base paths with at least 3. I only mark a stolen base if you steal it individually in my book, but she's got about 4 if you want to talk about the wild pitches and whatnot. So how many will go down? I don't know, but it's the fact that she's the Energizer Bunny on the base paths this afternoon as Jen Kuhn's foul ball keeps it a 1-2 count. So with all the craziness, 2 more runs for now. With 2 outs, a runner on third for Jen Kuhn, who would like to get her first hit of the day. I think the most surprising part about all this is Jen Kuhn going 0 for 2 to start this one off. And that, to a normal fan, seems crazy to say. She takes ball 2 to even the count. Alex, to go off of what we've been talking about, Jen Kuhn has multiple times told us and told other fans as that ball leaves the glove of Schlaff and throw not in time, so it's an was the pitcher out there, I would be very rattled personally if a ball went that close to me and my glove was falling off my hand as it was. As Ava Corey swings through that one for strike one. I can only imagine. So 1 for 2 day with an RBI double in the third for Ava Corey. It's the third time around, which always begs to question when the next pitcher is going to come out. But North Central has a very small roster, which only includes 3 pitchers listed with stats in the circle this season, and a stolen base for Jen Kuhn. Ava Corey, 0-2 count, but runner with 2 outs moves over to second. As I was going to say with Jen Kuhn, staying one-pitch focused is Coach Prager's motto. We've heard it from McDaniel, we've heard it from Corey, we've heard it from Kuhn, we've heard it from Post, and you kind of see that. You just the ability to not to forget about the last one, but remember what happened to it and be able to attack the next time you go up. And Jen Kuhn did that to get to finally get her first hit of the day and run something out. Ava Corey, again, she hits the ball hard whenever she swings. Over to Vlack, who's moved from second to short for out number 3. We've got a lot of confusion still to sort out, so we're going to take a break. Hope that we can get maybe a answer, and then come back to you for the top of the 5th. You're watching IWSports.com. Welcome back to Inspiration Field here in Bloomington. I'm Caden Sexton. Alongside me is Alex Bardenitis. Alex, we figured out that the position changes are permanent, but other than that, we do not have any news to report as Gianna Serta pitches to the newest change, Emma Herder, the junior from Frankfort, Illinois, whose 8 RBIs are the tied for the most in conference play. We talked before break about how this squad has not much depth, and they let everybody play and get minutes, as that is a fly out on the first pitch to Melgazo in left field. So quickly one out here as we're just trying to recap and get you back from commercial break. And in the top of the 5th with 1 down, we go back to the start of things, the top of the order in Matson, the sophomore from Kenosha. Matson, a .315 hitter on the season. It's the 3rd highest mark out of qualified bats for this team. Swings through that one for strike 1. .7-2 ball game here in the top of the 4th. The Titans have been able to just come back from any difficulties they have faced, and it's really been because of their bats having the ability to just come and start swinging again and again and again. And don't forget, folks, this is just game 1 of a doubleheader slate today, and after the doubleheader slate today, or before the doubleheader slate today, the North Central had 17 innings of ball yesterday. That one a liner to second, easily caught by Hermes for out number 2. So as an athlete yourself, how do you kind of respond to the short days of rest?
Yeah, we've had our fair share of playing games and then turning right back around for early tournaments and especially early practice too, but you just have to, take care of your body. Obviously, I would assume that after that extended inning games and the doubleheader that they had yesterday, they were able to use the treatment available to them and take care of their bodies, get a good meal in, especially this morning too before they left. But definitely take care of yourself first, but also getting a good night's sleep and doing your scouting, doing your preparation, because quick turnarounds, you got to forget what you just played and focus on the new one.
Yeah, and again, they split against Carroll, but this is a dangerous Wesleyan team, the first ranked in the CCIW, who's been on a tear. Vlack entered that at bat, 2 for 2 on the day. A quick grounder to Serta ends the top of the fifth. We go to the bottom here on IWSports.com with a 7-2 Titan lead. Welcome back to Inspiration Field here in Bloomington, Illinois. I'm Caden Sexton. To my right, Alex Bartonitis. Alex, a better offensive inning every time they come back out has been the story for the Titans. And another defensive substitution. They have brought Rachel Matson in from center field and at the catcher spot. And I'm not sure who's now out in center, but nonetheless, somebody is newly out there for head coach Venus Taylor as Claire Post checks into the game as the batter. She was subbed out to pinch run, and she's now back behind the dish. Or she was back behind the dish, and now she is here to hit. 1 strike to her name. She's 1 for 2 on the day with a double the last time she was up. A hard hit ball. Our new center fielder, who we'll just call center fielder, is able to make that one.
Until we can figure out that number. Looks to me like 19.
Now batting, number 10, Bella Pinter.
19 would make... 19 was Miller, who was in right field. So are we now figuring out who's in right, or are we assuming that 19 moved over?
Or it could be 29.
29 is Juliana Maud, who is a freshman pitcher. I'm sorry, sophomore pitcher from Huntley, Illinois. Nobody knows at this point, folks, and we're the ones who are supposed to be able to tell you that, and we don't know. 19 is still in right field, so I think you're probably right in 29, but...
I did see a 9, but...
I thought I saw a 9 too, so I think we both saw... Hey, at least we both saw a 9. Can we...
We're not going crazy.
We'll call that a win, at least. It's Bella Pinter to the dish. She is 1 for 2 on the day with a single and a line out to shortstop. Now, a 1-1 count for her. She shows bunt. Just timing things up. Then she goes back for the bunt and hits it foul. And so she'll have to go down 2 strikes. Scoring does not have the change of positions, so we do not know if we are hallucinating or not. But you know what? We're here, so. Hard hit ball to third, and that's going to be an interesting call. It's called foul, but that glove, I think the glove was probably over the line. It doesn't change the fact that the feet of the new third baseman, Torreson, were probably in fair territory, and we're going to have the roller skater get up to skate on and find that ball. So after that intriguing foul ball play, we've got no outs, 1 on, 1-1 pitch, and Pinter swings through that one for strikeout number 2 on the day. first strikeout since Melgazo to lead things off in the bottom of the first for Schliff. So 1 out now for Hermes, who gets her third opportunity in the batter's box. She's 1 for 2 today with a single, a 440 batting average on the season, but a very small sample size to get that number. However, still a hot bat, and that's something that the freshman from Peru brings into this lineup. Peru, Illinois, of course, people. Don't think she's from other Peru.
Other Peru.
Swings through that, 1 for strike 1 to even things up 1 apiece. Hermes has got the runner still on first base because of that K, and so Bella Pinter tried to bunt and get the runner over. Instead, Post still sitting out there. McDaniel didn't come out to pinch run this time like she did her last time she was on the base paths. And so 2-1 now for Hermes. Foul ball again. On Saturday, it was senior day, and the seniors did come out to play with Jen Kuhn and Ava Corey making huge impacts in both of the 2 games, but they won the doubleheader 4-3 in Game 1, 6-1 in Game 2. So, again, North Central has a lot of time, Alex, but not looking to have as close of a Game 1 as they did the last time they were out. Nor are they looking for as close of a Game 1 as the last time they played this Cardinal squad. A long and high throw, but Torreson gets it across the diamond and gets Post out at second. So it's Wismiller now with 1 out and the runner replaced at first base. So instead of it being Post, it's Hermes who's on with the fielder's choice, as Wismiller, who's 0 for 1 today with a walk her last time through, is at the dish. Wismiller, hard hit ball, and there's a single for Wismiller. She gets Hermes all the way over to third, and so now she thinks about going, and she does get back in time after a throw checks in on her. All smiles over there for Casey.
Grace Wilkins.
So now Grace Wilkins, in the batter's box with 2 outs and runners on the corners. It'd be a very dangerous bunt, to say the least. We've seen her try and put a couple down already in this contest, but really can't afford a bunt with 2 outs, even though she's done it twice already. They're going to do it for a 3rd time, and when I say that, I mean stealing second base with a lackadaisical nature to try and force a throw and a runner to score. After the first time, of course, you have to think, of course the first time it's going to warrant the throw, but then times 2 and 3 might be a little bit harder to get that. However, new catcher into the game, so she was out in center. She watched it happen the first 2 times, but I don't think she had any interest in it. You know, that might be number 28, because 28 is Sydney Ninehouse, who is in left field. Who's in left field now?
I mean, both of on the stat sheet here, it still says that Madsen center and Ninehouse is in.
The mystery that won't be solved. It's a new player in left field. We figured it out. Ronnie Latka is in left field, a graduate student from Sugar Grove. So I guess she replaces a lot of defensive changes, folks. She is now in left to replace Crabtree's spot as a catcher, and then everybody moves their positions around. We'll get you up on that. We'll get up to speed on that for you instead of sounding like lunatics in a minute. Right now it's 2-2 to Grace Wilkins. Hey, I think the biggest win in this inning is that we were able to find out the pitching or the fielding changes before it ended.
It's the win for us, and we're not even playing.
There we go. Good work, team broadcast booth. 2-2. Grace Wilkins back to the pitcher. A nice easy flip for out number 3. Grace Wilkins contested it, but unsuccessful. So, unless if I've got everything right, the new defense, for those of you at home who are dying to know what's going on, the new defense has Matson moving from center field to catcher, Vlack moving from second base to short, Torreson moving from short to third, Morsovillo is still the designated player, Crabtree is out of the game. She was the catcher, and Latka is in left field. Bomar got pinch hit for by Trexiner, but she went out to play first base again. Miller is still in right field. God bless her soul. Ninehouse moves from left field to center field, and Creeth is subbed out for Herder, who checks into the game at second base. I think we did it. I think that's a round of applause for the broadcasters.
Round of applause in the box.
Nobody else is. Everybody's probably wondering, while the Titans are warming up, why there's just two folks who are clapping their hands. But we know and you know, folks. 11-5 hit total, Alex. I think that's definitely, obviously that results in the score that we have. But even thinking about, or even looking at that, I don't see the five hits from the Cardinals doesn't really seem realistic. It's just the fact that every time somebody does get on base for North Central, you have Gianna Serta and the defense immediately diffuse it. And so Torreson, who's 1 for 2 on the day, a single her last time up, takes ball 1. Now ball 2. Torreson, as we said, was a hero the last time these two schools met. There's the roller skater we were talking about. They finally got him on camera, having some fun behind the bleachers. But anyways, point being, Torreson, hero last time these two schools saw each other. She also went 2 for 4 with 2 doubles in Game 2 last night against Carroll. So a dangerous extra base threat on the season. She's got 8 doubles and 1 triple. And Serta thought about that slow roller. I think she regrets it. No, she doesn't regret it, as Hermes gets a hold of that one. I'm in disbelief that was an out, not because of the call, but just because Serta, watch this ball. That one was easy enough for her to go and take. Instead, she wants her defense to handle it, forcing a bang play that thankfully for her went the Titan way. So here's Haley Morsovio. She went 2 for 4 with an RBI single in the third to take the lead in Game 1. And in Game 2, that game ended, by the way, with a bases loaded hit by pitch. I mean, there's a lot of bases loaded walks. Talk about a bases loaded hit by pitch to end and get a conference win. Morsovilo is 1 for 2 on the day with the 2 RBI single in the third inning that scored both of these North Central runs. So today, at the very least, the most dangerous hitter is at the dish. Her batting average, as we were talking about the first time she was up at 366, you don't normally see that high batting average in the in the cleanup spot, but it has been working for them, and it's been getting them their runs driven in. She's got 12 of them. There we go. There's the roller skater in full effect. 12 of RBIs, third on the team, as well as 11 walks, which is the most on her squad. Ava Corey, the Gold Glove first baseman, waves everybody else off as she catches the pop-up for out number 2. So now
batting, number
it is Ronnie Latka, the graduate second base / outfielder from Sugar Grove, Illinois. She was named the 2024 CCIW Respect Award winner. Her .636 batting average in a conference play leads the way for her team, a .432 in the regular season overall. She's taking over Crabtree's spot in the batting order And in left field, a grounder over to third, an easy play for Ava Corey for out number 3. We will go to the bottom of the 6th, let you hear other voices other than ours after all the craziness we had to work you back through, and return for some Titan bats here on iwsports.com.
What is proven?
Welcome back to iwsports.com.
Taylor Warren.
And the new pitcher into the ball game for Illinois, not Illinois Wesleyan, for North Central. After all the craziness on the fielding and pinch hitting, we got a new pitcher. It's Taylor Warren, a senior from Yorkville, Illinois. We'll talk more about her in a moment, but Alex, beforehand, I'm not surprised that Schlipp's day is done. Haley Milgazzo is starting things off, and this is her fourth plate appearance. You can't imagine going through it the 4th time. So Milgazzo is going to time things up and hits this one perfectly into the gap. It's a shaken up defense, no doubt about it. And a single to start things off for Milgazzo. That's her second hit on the day after she doubled her last time up. And so back to Taylor Warren, a Wabanese Community College transfer who was named to the 2023 All-NGCAA Team, Division II, and the Illinois Skyway Collegiate Conference Pitcher of the Year. Now Warren here has not been having the same success as she delivers strike 1 to Anna Beckman. Beckman is 1 for 2 on the day with a single and a walk. And a conversation about Milgazzo at first base, I can only presume that's about leaving early. And they do call Milgazzo out. So we will have to see what they officially call her out for. But quickly, Anna Beckman, well, first off, it's a gift given to Warren here in the bottom of the 6th. But a now different situation for Beckman. After her first pitch, she has an out to her name, or she's got an out for her team's name and an empty base paths. So back to Warren, 4.25 ERA on the season, 26 innings pitched, 11 strikeouts in 9 appearances, 5 game starts. All of those were third on the team. As that one's going to be a fly out to center, caught out there by Ninehouse. Wanted to make sure we got it right, and Milgazzo did leave early. So that is the result of Haley Milgazzo's at-bat, is a leaving early. I was right. Nice. So with 2 outs, a very different tone of an inning for Illinois Wesleyan as Jen Kuhn comes to the dish. The shortstop's 1 for 3 on the day. Somebody who's made massive impacts for 3 previous years and making probably her biggest in her tenure with the Titans, her senior campaign. That was ball 2 to come in as briefly talk about Jen Kuhn now. We'll switch gears. Kuhn, 476 average on the year, 400 in her career. It's going to pop this one up. 2-time first team All-CCIW her last 2 seasons, second team last year, and she does fly it out to center for out number 3. We go to the top of the 7th with 3 outs to go for the North Central Cardinals. Will they get the 5-run rally, or will we get a Titan win after 3 outs? You're watching iwsports.com.
At NCAA Championships, noise is made here. Memories are made here. Champions win here. The only thing missing here is you. The NCAA Division III Softball Championship coming to Bloomington, Illinois this May. Get your tickets today at ncaa.com/tickets.
Welcome back to Inspiration Field here in Bloomington, Illinois. It will be Lauren Bomar, who was the first baseman to start things off. She got pinch hit for her last at-bat. Now, after her strikeout in the second, she went back out to field at first, and now she's at the dish. She thought about it, and it's called strike one regardless. So Gianna Serta's got to fan 3 or just get 3 retired before 5 cross the plate, and this first game is over. And 2 here in the doubleheader, so make sure you stick around as we will resume play very briefly after this contest right here on IWSports.com. North Central, barring a miracle, will be looking to split the series, while Illinois Wesleyan will hope to get to double-digit wins in conference play before recording a loss in CCIW contention. Again, have to get through this one first. It's looking very strongly in their favor, but can't count the eggs before they hatch. And that's a swinging strikeout there. Another one for Gianna Serta, as there's out number 1 in this triumphant 7th inning of hers.
Now batting, number 19.
I mean, Gianna Serta we probably will not see unless if it's a save situation in game number 2. How do you ride her momentum into the next contest, Alex?
I mean, she's done a great job so far with how many strikeouts that she's had, and it's really come in clutch for the Titans, allowing them to keep that 7-2 lead on runs. But I think whoever the next pitcher is just needs to be confident in themselves and just, keep that energy and that momentum in mind, especially because energy is made from Gianna Serta's performance right now, and just ride it out for the next game.
So Bailey Miller, the junior from Newberry Park, California, didn't like the first 2 pitches, and that one, she fouls down the line. She's 1 for 2 on the day after singling in the second. She flew out to right in the 4th. Now it's the 7th inning and just her 3rd at-bat, which seems it doesn't seem like it seems normal with how this game has gone. If you take out the run total, this game feels completely different. I mean, you look at the hits and it's 5-12, and 5-12 is a big difference, don't get me wrong, but 12 hits doesn't seem like 7 runs to me for some reason, and 5 hits doesn't seem like 2 runs to me for some reason, as Miller gets called out after that great throw across the diamond by Jen Kuhn. And so the bats aren't really the problem for North Central. It's really been their defense. And so how do you tighten things up? Again, we're probably going to see the 3rd pitcher in Juliana Maudet in game number 2. So with Maudet going in the circle, how do you tighten things up? Again, we're making assumptions here, but how do you tighten things up, Alex, for game 2?
I mean, just keeping in mind every error, every mistake that you make in the first game, you can learn from and build off of, make sure it doesn't happen again, and you can adjust for the second game. So just taking those adjustments, keeping in mind, I mean, now that they've seen what the Titans can do in the first game, just making those adjustments and just trying to put more pressure on the Titans in game 2 for their own purposes to try to get the lead.
Most certainly a hard-hit ball by Ninehouse, but quickly fielded by Ella Hermes for out number 3. And so that does it for the Illinois Wesleyan Titans. They're able to earn victory in game 1 by a score of 7-2. Alex, what are your final thoughts on this one, this game, for both sides?
Both sides, honestly, good things we can see all the way around. I thought that the Titans did a really great job, even when they were in tight pressure situations, of getting out of that, working through the adversity, and just sticking to their own game. One thing that the Titans do really well is controlling the game with their own momentum, their own energy, and you can really tell, honestly, even watching in the press box here, just how confident they are in themselves and their abilities, and how that affects the players around them, especially their opponents too. The North Central Cardinals, you could tell they had a lot of pressure put on them from the Titans, and they did well scoring those 2 runs and coming back. They brought it up to 2-3 at one point, so they did well getting a lead at that point, but Titans just pushed back on them, and they were able to keep that momentum and run with it.
I mean, I think it has to do with the Titans being able to deteriorate anything that happened offensively by the Cardinals. They got a hit, they got a walk, then you were out. You weren't getting to home. This team was able to lock things down and get their outs, and that came with Gianna Serta being able to forget goldfish memory, as we talked about, get right back into things, and pick up as well on the way her 200th strikeout of the day. If you are North Central, you have to bring those bats back out. Again, you would love more of them, don't get me wrong. You need more bats, but it's more the fact that you need to have strong defense. 12 hits, 7 runs. I mean, one of those 2, not good. Both of them, they lead to each other, and they both are negative traits. And so if you're the Titans, you want to do everything the same. If you're North Central, maybe tick those bats up 5%, but that defense and that pitching needs to completely take a 180.
Definitely. I completely agree with everything that you said. I think now towards this next game in the doubleheader, I think both teams are looking to make those adjustments and just really buckle down on the things that they made mistakes on, made a little bit of errors, were kind of a little tricky with in the first game, and just focus on that, keep doing what they're doing good consistently, and hopefully make it a more interesting, not that this game wasn't interesting, but with the 7-2 score run gap by 5 runs, make it a little closer on the Cardinals' part, and hopefully the Titans on their end can keep the runs going.
Well, I think you said it perfectly. The game, based on the score sheet, seems not too great. I mean, definitely not great on either front, score sheet and reality, for the Cardinals in Game 1, but despite it looking like a boring, plain Jane game on the score sheet, it was a very thrilling one that we are glad you joined us in witnessing. Make sure you tune in very shortly for game number 2, however, between these 2 squads right here on iwsports.com after this. Can the Titans get conference win number 10 before loss number 1? Or will North Central be able to split the series? You watched iwsports.com. I'm Caden Sexton alongside me, Alex Bardenitis. Make sure you return here shortly.